Su Jia's rebellious son, after getting married, builds the strongest sect. Introduction. www.zhaoshuyuan.com travels to the world of martial arts. Su Tianrui integrates the heavenly selection and inheritance system, but finds that this system forces a family to establish a family, forming the conditions for inheritance to improve martial arts cultivation and break through boundaries. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully taking a concubine. Ding, as the host is getting married for the first time, we will reward a bottle of body-quenching pill and also reward the top secret collection of the 18 dragon subduing palms, https://www.zhaoshuan.com. Chapter 1. Su Fu's Rebel Son, Marriage Resurrected, Revised. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, Rebel Son, are you pretending to be dead again for me? Hurry up for me. In Xian City, in the hall of the Su mansion, a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious attire swung a wooden stick and fiercely smashed Su Tianrui's buttocks. Su Tianrui, lying on the ground, slowly opened his eyes and saw that this place was full of antique and precious furniture, seemingly familiar but also very unfamiliar. Where is this? Ding, detected the son of Tianxian, the Tianxian inheritance system is loading and binding. Please wait. System. Su Tianrui's face changed. Am I traveling? My mother, I have been single for 36 years and have seen all sorts of strange things, but I never imagined that traveling through time would happen to me. After graduating from university, I have been working hard in the big city, waking up earlier than chickens, sleeping later than dogs, doing more than cows, and eating worse than pigs. As a result, all my savings have been cheated on blind dates. Because they have never been able to enter the threshold of marriage, their parents have also been ridiculed by the villagers and relatives. They are just getting drunk on the rooftop and have actually traveled back to ancient times. Subsequently, a memory surged into Su Tianrui's mind, causing him to feel a momentary sensation, as if encountering earth shaking and mountains shaking, holding his head and howling in sorrow. At the same time, a mechanical sound rang out. Congratulations on the host's fusion of the heavenly selection inheritance system. This system aims to enhance the host's martial arts strength and other comprehensive abilities. As long as the host completes the task of getting married and taking concubines, forming the conditions for passing down the world, they can receive certain rewards, including various martial arts secrets, which may instantly enhance the host's strength. Please collect the beginner gift package and find a qualified woman to get married within 3 days. Otherwise, the system will penalize the host ding by 10 centimeters. At the same time, unbinding the host will cause the system to self-destruct, which will definitely turn the host into a fool. Therefore, please ensure that the host gets married in a timely manner. Su Tianrui heard these prompts from the system and quickly called out 3 times to lie down. As a result, these 3 lies led to the middle-aged man's accelerated beating. You rascal, you're still making your mouth dirty, right? I'll make your mouth dirty. The elders of the Su family sitting on both sides looked at Su Tianrui's painful expression, but their faces were full of disdain and there was no trace of sympathy. Because this time, Su Tianrui was unexpectedly dismissed by the Yuanling faction, causing the entire Su family in Xian City to be in an embarrassing situation. The Yuanling sect is a small third-rate martial arts sect on the side of Xian City. Su Tianrui, who had already been expelled from other sects 14 times, became the laughing-stock of the entire city after being framed and expelled this time. Xian City was a third-level city under the jurisdiction of the Tianlongju Dashi dynasty, with a population of 200,000, making it the least populous city in the Dashi dynasty. However, 200 years ago, it was only a city like Xian City, with a local population and a floating population of over 800,000. The local resources were abundant, and the people lived and worked in peace and contentment. Due to a sudden large-scale animal attack, the entire continent was ravaged and destroyed, resulting in a large number of people on 5 continents dying in the chaos, and thousands of people on each continent were killed in action. Tianlongju has 3 major imperial dynasties, each of which recruited a large number of people to resist animal attacks, and the population of the cities rapidly decreased. So it is normal for a small city in the Dashi dynasty to have 4 times less population. Moreover, most people nowadays are obsessed with practicing martial arts in order to strengthen their bodies and fight against exotic beasts, but they overlook the importance of having offspring. Every household now focuses on children practicing martial arts in order to reach the level of a master. After the beast attack, most of the various sects and sects lost their inheritance, and the requirements for the so-called Grandmaster have also been lowered to the 3rd level of the Wash Marrow realm, but most people have stayed in the 2nd level of the Condensing Yuan realm. The martial arts realm is divided into 9 levels. The first 3 levels are the Energy-Inducing realm, the Condensing Element realm, and the Washing Marrow realm. The middle 3 levels are the Forging Body realm, the Soul Merging realm, and the Earth Evil realm. The last 3 levels are the Heavenly Evil realm, the Returning True realm, and the Crossing Calamity realm. Each layer is further divided into 9 levels of small realms, which should be the number of 9, in order to go against the 9 heavens, transcend the mortal realm, and become emperor for eternity. However, to produce a martial emperor who has reached the 9th level of crossing the tribulation realm, it is simply like the difficulty of the Shu Road, harder than reaching the blue sky. Since the age of 6, Su Tianrui has been sent to various sects and sects for a total of 14 years, but his cultivation has remained at the 3rd level of the 1st level of energy attraction realm. A normal person can be promoted to the 5th level of the 2nd level of the condensed element realm every 14 years, even after being promoted to the 1st level of the minor realm every year. Therefore, Su Tianrui's cultivation level has always been criticized by people, and he is regarded as a rebellious son by his own father. At this moment, the middle-aged man beside him, who was so angry that he blew his beard and glared, was Su Tianrui's father, the head of the Su family in the head of the Su family, Su Taiheng. Due to the fact that the Su brothers were all watching from the side, Su Taiheng was even more ashamed and didn't know how he had given birth to the rebellious son Su Tianrui. Rebel son, don't go back to Su Mansion in the future. There is a large courtyard in the northern suburbs. You can go and live there. Besides, I'll give you 1,000 taels. If you use them up, you can make a living on your own. Don't expect to receive any more money from the Su family. Su Tianrui's face changed and a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He didn't expect to be kicked out of his home as soon as he crossed over, was it too unlucky? This time, even if you want to enjoy the success as the young master of the Su family. But he also had no choice, after all, his predecessor was too weak. He had practiced martial arts for 14 years without any progress, and people of the same period were already in the later stage of the 2nd level of Ningyuan realm. Over the years, it has consumed so much of the Su family's savings and also brought shame to the Su family. It is only natural for him to be expelled from the Su family by his father. Father, I am willing to obey your orders. By the way, is it valid to marry a daughter of the Zhao family before? Su Taiheng was stunned, not expecting Su Tianrui to think of marriage. According to secular terms, a man should marry a woman, and according to the regulations of the Dashi dynasty, regardless of status, all could have 3 wives and 4 concubines. However, people on the entire continent are now obsessed with practicing martial arts, practicing in seclusion, in order to achieve complete internal skills and be invincible throughout the world. In order to tap into the spiritual potential of all martial arts, most experts will practice until they are over 30 years old. Getting married and taking concubines is only for the purpose of spreading branches and leaves, so this marriage is mostly a helpless move. Once married, a martial arts practitioner is truly equivalent to walking into a grave, busy with having children and supporting the family, and losing the opportunity to practice martial arts, with no possibility of promotion in martial arts. Rao is that most people stay at the 2nd level, and they mostly endure until they are over 30 years old before giving up. Only by improving their strength can they receive more rewards from the Dashi Emperor. Therefore, most people nowadays marry and have children at a later age. Those like Su Tianrui who demand early marriage are common in the civilian population, but it is unprecedented in the large family population. Summoning up, Su Taiheng squinted his eyes and stared at Su Tianrui, speaking word by word. Are you serious? Nature is serious, how can marriage be played with? Su Tianrui nodded like a chicken pecking at rice, because only by getting married and taking concubines can he have the opportunity to obtain those advanced martial arts secrets and improve his strength. Although there are some martial arts practices in Su Mansion, they may not be suitable or effective for him, otherwise why hasn't he made progress? And after being expelled so many times, various sects are no longer willing to recruit him. Even if he does, he will only receive basic skills, which is meaningless. So he plans to use this to marry and take concubines, to make the system stronger. However, the system restricts various conditions such as the wife's appearance, physical strength, health, martial arts level, spiritual root quality, etc. Basically, in ordinary third-level cities like Xi'an City, only wealthy families can find matching partners. Based on his memory and impression, Su Tianrui systematically identified the Zhao family's daughter as a good choice. Moreover, the Zhao family's daughter has a spiritual root, and it is said that her martial arts strength is still in the first level of power attraction. If the other party is already at the second level of strength, even if they want to marry, they may regret it. After all, in an era where martial arts are the top priority, this is a case of improper family and improper household. Of course, whether he marries the daughter of the Zhao family or not, he must get married once within 3 days. Marriage is a top priority and must be resolved as soon as possible. Laozi couldn't solve the problem of marriage in the modern world. Gold worshippers have been deceiving themselves and deceiving their savings. Can't Laozi still solve this marriage problem in ancient times? We must never sit idly by. I'm getting married. Get married. Okay. Today I will have someone come to propose a marriage, but regardless of whether the marriage is finally achieved or not, you cannot live here in the Su mansion from now on to avoid causing any impact on other siblings. Su Taiheng nodded in agreement, but still did not forget to give Su Tianrui a warning. Su Tianrui breathed a sigh of relief and glanced at the younger brothers and sisters standing next to him. He forced a smile and nodded at them as they looked at him. Today you should be ashamed of me, but tomorrow you will surely be proud of me. Claim the big gift pack. As Su Tianrui responded to the system, a large colored package immediately appeared in the sea of consciousness. Open. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining one top-notch power drawing pill. This pill can help cultivators directly advance to the second level. Go to the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a top-grade quenching pill. This pill can help cultivators directly advance to the third level. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the sunflower acupoint pointing hand. This technique can suppress acupoint disorder, prevent demonic fire, and self-destruct blood vessels. After obtaining 2 pills and a set of cultivation techniques, Su Tianrui's heart was filled with joy and he immediately appeared on his personal profile page. Host data list, name. Su Tianrui, identity. Eldest son of the Su family in the Big Family, appearance. 9.1 points, constitution. Superior, health. Abnormal, buttocks blossoming, martial arts. The third level of energy attraction realm, spirit root. Fire spirit root level 1, cultivation method. Basic cultivation methods of major schools, sunflower pointing hand cultivation method. Su Taiheng saw that Su Tianrui's face was not right, and he suddenly realized that he had hit it hard, to the point where Su Tianrui went crazy and even laughed. Subsequently, he arranged for 2 maids and 4 servants to escort Su Tianrui to the Zili courtyard in the northern suburbs of Xi'an City. The two maids looked average and appeared particularly honest, one named Yu Xiaomei and the other named Lu Xiaowei. After Su Tianrui asked two maids to apply medicine to his injured buttocks, he immediately arranged for the two maids to go out on the street. Because he didn't know how the prices were here, nor did he know how much his father could buy with 1,000 taels, so he naturally had to understand. The two maids followed Su Tianrui's instructions and compared all the items they needed to purchase with each other. As soon as the report was finished, a young woman's roar came from outside the yard, with a beautiful voice but a strong smell of gunpowder. Su Tianrui, get out of here. Chapter 2. Conditions for choosing a spouse, consent to concubine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, this period is the downhill period, and various sects not only allow their disciples to reunite at home, but also expel a large number of disciples. Although Zhao Zishi is the daughter of the Zhao family, this Zhao family is only limited to Ziyun City. Due to her poor strength, she was also expelled from the sect. She just didn't expect to learn about the Su family's proposal as soon as she got home. But she had no intention of walking into the tomb of marriage so soon, so after she had someone investigate, she immediately brought a maid to the door. Zhao Zishi, who hurriedly came in, saw Su Tianrui lying on the bed with his buttocks bare. Her face changed and her face turned pale, causing her to panic and turn around. Her jade hands covered her pretty face. You're shameless. Why don't you wear clothes in broad daylight? Su Tianrui followed the sound and saw a slender young woman standing at the door, which instantly brought up a memory. Two children were playing and chasing in a courtyard, and the boy punched and destroyed a flower pot. The girl took the initiative to take responsibility for the boy. Unfortunately, as they grew up, the two of them traveled to different sects to practice martial arts, becoming increasingly distant. Moreover, the predecessor seemed to have someone he liked, but the person he liked was no longer Zhao Zishi, but a junior sister from the Yuanling sect. So, Su Tianrui immediately concentrated his mind and had the system call up Zhao Zishi's information page. Name: Zhao Zishi, identity. Daughter of Zhao family's parents, appearance. 9.5 points, constitution. Superior, health. Normal, martial arts. The 8th level of the energy attraction realm, spirit root. Wood spirit root level 1, practice. Purple mist sect immortal guide basics, loyalty. 50 points. After putting on his pants, Su Tianrui said calmly, all right, you can turn around and say, what are you doing here? Upon hearing this, Zhao Zishi immediately turned her head and stared at Su Tianrui, her phoenix eyes filled with anger. Did you propose that your father send someone to come to my house to propose marriage? I haven't planned to get married yet. Besides, even if I want to get married, I must also marry a warrior from the 2nd level of Ningyuan realm. Su Tianrui's mouth curled up and he said, so, do you mean to regret getting married? Zhao Zishi gently shook her head, her pretty face brushing a hint of solemnity. It's not about regretting my marriage, but rather that both of us have only the ability to attract energy. If one day someone bullies me, can you protect me? So, if you want to marry me, you must reach the 2nd level of Ningyuan realm, and it cannot be lower than me. If I reach the 3rd level of Ningyuan realm, you must reach the 4th level. As long as you do it, what's wrong with me marrying you? However, you must marry openly, and the position of the legitimate wife must be mine. After listening to these mate selection criteria, Su Tianrui breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. After all, Zhao Zishi is a woman with spiritual roots. If she matches him to give birth, she will definitely be able to give birth to offspring with spiritual roots. The heavenly selection inheritance system has prompted him that as long as he gives birth to offspring, he can receive a reward and improve his cultivation. If he can give birth to offspring with spiritual roots, he can receive a higher quality reward and his strength can rapidly improve. No problem. I can promise you anything, I hope you won't regret it. Besides, you are very beautiful and I am very satisfied with you. You must not marry anyone else. If you want to get married, then you can only marry me. After we get married, I can help you fulfill any wish you have. Zhao Zishi was somewhat surprised to hear Su Tianrui's frank confession, because she didn't know where Su Tianrui came from with these confidence. Upon inquiring about Su Tianrui's whereabouts, she had already guessed that Su Tianrui had probably been driven out by the Su family. Su Tianrui's cultivation was too low, she was expelled from the sect, and then expelled from the family. She did not work in the court and had no other income. How can Su Tianrui ensure that her wishes are fulfilled? So for a moment, she was somewhat disappointed with Su Tianrui. Unexpectedly, Su Tianrui threw a small porcelain bottle directly at Zhao Zishi. Is this the ultimate power-boosting pill? Zhao Zishi was somewhat surprised because she didn't expect Su Tianrui to be able to obtain a top-notch power-boosting pill. You should know that although there are many Yin Jin Dan, there are not many top-quality Yin Jin Dan, and the price on the street market has reached 5,000 taels of silver per piece. For her Zhao family, 5,000 taels of silver is already 2 years of revenue and profit. So generally, even if a family has money, they won't spend 5,000 taels to buy a top-notch power-boosting pill, unless it's because this child is very talented. It's just a top-notch power-boosting pill. Once we get married, I can obtain any pill for you in the future. Su Tianrui smiled faintly and thought of something, then added, by the way, I still have a top-quality body-quenching pill here. If we get married, I can also give it to you. Are you serious? Zhao Zishi was extremely shocked. She couldn't believe that Su Tianrui still had top-grade body-quenching pills. Danyao is generally divided into 4 levels. Inferior, intermediate, superior, and top-grade. Both top-grade and top-grade pills are excellent pills that people compete for, because these 2 types of pills can better stimulate people's potential, improve their skills, and elevate their realm to a higher level. Of course it's true. A man is a big man, his words are like gold, and he shouldn't deceive you like a woman. Su Tianrui nodded and said. Zhao Zishi nodded lightly, showing a slight liking towards Su Tianrui. Since that's the case, when you reach the 2nd level of Ningyuan realm, we'll get married. After saying these words, Zhao Zishi's pretty face instantly turned red, and she turned around, afraid to look at Su Tianrui. Because her marriage to Su Tianrui had already been arranged by the elders of both families when they reached adulthood, she also had some expectations for Su Tianrui in her heart. Now seeing that Su Tianrui is handsome, although his buttocks are a bit strange, she feels that Su Tianrui has some skills. He can hold the top-grade power-boosting pill and the top-grade body-quenching pill, and he looks stable. So she doesn't have much resistance towards her partner, she just thinks that the marriage is a bit early. So Zhao Zishi, you won't oppose me taking a concubine, will you? Su Tianrui asked nervously. Concubine taking. Zhao Zishi turned her head to look at Su Tianrui, frowned slightly, but then stretched out and nodded, I don't mind, as long as my wife's position is mine. After saying these words, Zhao Zishi's pretty face blushed to the bottom of her ear. Then she didn't care about Su Tianrui at all and ran out with a trembling heart. Su Tianrui breathed a sigh of relief as he watched Zhao Zishi's figure disappear. If Zhao Zishi repents or refuses to take a concubine, he will have to find another target. After all, he is now reborn through time travel, why should he feel wronged? Congratulations, Master. Yu Xiaomei and Lu Xiaowei bowed to Su Tianrui in unison, expressing their congratulations. Su Tianrui nodded and looked at the 2 maids, somewhat sighing, because there were no other servants here except for the 2 maids. It seems that I have come to recruit a concubine and hold a grand banquet to give the women here a happy wedding. However, before recruiting a concubine, I need to find a few more servants to handle it. I can't exhaust these 2 loyal maids. Do as you think. Su Tianrui was not idle either, so he personally took his 2 maids out and planned to go out to buy groceries and recruit a large number of manpower. Of course, more importantly, he needs to inquire about where young women are waiting to be married and willing to be concubines. When he went out to buy groceries, Su Tianrui immediately ordered the 2 maids to go to the matchmaker separately to inquire. A person was wandering around the street, only to find a woman in purple who had been following him, and was still openly following him. "Who are you? Why have you been following me all this time? Are you busy?" Chapter 3. Water System Beauty, Grand Banquet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, the woman in purple has clear eyebrows and beautiful eyes. She has a fair and round face like jade, with skin that can be easily broken by blowing. She has 2 shallow dimples, a graceful figure, a slender waist, and looks like a goddess. Brother Su, don't you remember me? I'm Zhao Lin from the Zhao family. I just heard your conversation with the maid, and you're asking someone about the marriage. Since that's the case, can you marry me? This statement shocked Su Tianrui greatly. Although he was eager to take a concubine immediately, he did not expect that there were still those who were in a hurry to ask for marriage. This woman must not have come from an improper source, right? So, Su Tianrui immediately summoned the system and retrieved Zhao Lin's profile page. Name: Zhao Lin, identity: second daughter of the Zhao family in the small family, appearance: 8.8 points, physical fitness: moderate, health; abnormal, with scattered lower abdominal meridians, martial arts. The 6th level of the energy attraction realm, spirit root. Water system spirit root level 1, practice. Beidou Sect's Dozhuan Starshift Foundation, loyalty: 80 points. Upon seeing these materials, Su Tianrui naturally believed that Zhao Lin was truly a member of the Zhao family, and also a beautiful woman from the water system. He now longed to find a beautiful woman with spiritual roots and achieve marriage. However, according to the system standards, Zhao Lin's appearance has not reached the standard of 9.0 points, and it is not allowed to marry her. To Su Tianrui's surprise, Zhao Lin's loyalty to herself was so high. "Zhao Lin, I can't marry you because I promised Zhao Zishi. But I can take you as a concubine, as long as you are loyal to your husband and me, I can give you all the rights of a wife." The nominal standard cannot be changed because the system will consider the influence of society, but in reality, it can give Zhao Lin more rights as a wife. Zhao Lin remained silent, and the smile on her face disappeared in an instant. This made Su Tianrui a bit nervous. Finally, someone came to deliver it to his door, but surprisingly messed it up. But Su Tianrui couldn't force it either, because the system said that marriage must be done with the woman's willingness. Otherwise, if he throws 1,000 taels, he can buy 1,000 daughters of lowly people as wives and concubines. Zhao Lin turned around and didn't go to see Su Tianrui, but she didn't leave here either. After a while, she turned to Su Tianrui and nodded solemnly at him. "I am willing to marry you as a concubine." Su Tianrui was stunned. Just now, he was worried that Zhao Lin wouldn't agree, but he didn't expect Zhao Lin to agree directly now. This is simply a great thing. He immediately checked the system and found that Zhao Lin was indeed willing. And that loyalty suddenly soared to 90 points. You should know that once loyalty soars to a perfect score of 100 points, it is equivalent to becoming a loyal person and basically won't change. But people have ulterior motives. Su Tianrui, who comes from Earth, naturally understands the principle that, knowing the face but not the heart, painting the skin and tiger is difficult to draw the bones. Some celebrities have always liked to set up their own character designs, but in fact, they have one set on the surface but one set behind the back. So Su Tianrui didn't hesitate and directly used the systematic simulation of life to deduce. Name: Zhao Lin, before marriage. Abide by family rules and keep oneself as a jade, after marriage. Loyal husband, virtuous and virtuous, this deduction made Su Tianrui very satisfied. After all, as a man, who wouldn't want to find a virtuous and virtuous woman? Since that's the case, from today on, you will be my expectant wife. I will come to propose marriage today and arrange a grand banquet tomorrow. Su Tianrui stepped forward directly, grabbed Xiao Lin's gentle face, and said with a joyful expression. So fast. It doesn't need to settle for 6 months. Choose a good day or a good day. Xiao Lin's pretty face turned crimson, and she suddenly felt like her heart was pounding with a deer. This was the first time she had been held in hand by a foreign man in public like this. I've calculated, tomorrow is an auspicious day. Listen to me, that's absolutely right. By the way, privately, I'll call you Lin Lin, okay? Su Tianrui saw that Xiao Lin didn't shake her hand, and his heart was secretly filled with joy. If it were on earth, those women would immediately shake their hands, pretend to be reserved, secretly stroll through countless nightclubs and bars, hold hands with countless strangers, and even sacrifice themselves. In this world of ancient martial arts, women are actually truly reserved, but they are also easy to recognize and acquiesce to their partners. Xiao Lin nodded repeatedly. She had already tacitly agreed that Su Tianrui was her husband, so naturally she would not refuse Su Tianrui holding hands or calling her a nickname. By the way, brother Su, why don't you ask me why I took the liberty of marrying you? Yeah, Lin Lin, why are you in such a hurry to get married? Su Tianrui only asked after realizing it, because the deduction said that Xiao Lin was a person who abides by family rules, so Xiao Lin should wait for the family to arrange the marriage. You don't know, I was actually expelled from the sect the previous year because my cultivation has been problematic, so no one even looks up to me. On the family side, it is clear that they will not arrange a formal marriage for me, so I have to come out on my own to find a good person. Otherwise, arranging for a marriage will be terrible. Because I have always liked you, brother Su, that's why I took the liberty of finding you. Actually, I'm really worried that you won't want me. Su Tianrui suddenly realized that in some families, if a woman does not improve in martial arts, her status will suddenly decline. Not only are they unable to arrange formal marriage matches, but they have also mostly become laborers in the family, similar to maids. Moreover, the Xiao family is one of the 4 small families in Xi'an City. Xiao Lin was expelled from the sect, which is like him, causing shame to the family. Naturally, families with matching backgrounds will not look up to Xiao Lin. And his Su family is one of the 4 major families. If Xiao Lin marries him, it doesn't count as a marriage, so she won't be ashamed to lead the family in marriage anymore. Silly girl, you are so lively and lovely, how could I not want you? I hope to be with you in this life, grow old together, never leave or abandon. Upon hearing these words, Xiao Lin's heart trembled and her eyes instantly turned red. Zhaoshuyuan.com women are always easily moved, let alone Su Tianrui who made such a promise. Then, Su Tianrui teamed up with Xiao Lin to go shopping, and then went to the Xiao mansion to propose marriage. The Xiao family was overjoyed when they learned that Su Tianrui was going to marry Xiao Lin as their concubine. After all, the Su family is a big family, and even if they are married as concubines, it is still a matter of honoring their ancestors. So the Xiao family directly agreed to this marriage and was willing to cooperate with Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui bid farewell to the Xiao family and Xiao Lin, and then returned to the Su mansion. Su Taiheng was so shocked that his eyes almost fell to the ground when he learned that Su Tianrui was going to hold his wedding tomorrow. You rebellious son, what kind of woman is not good to find? Why did you just find Xiao Lin? Because for Xiao Lin, he has also heard a rough idea from the matchmaker. Don't worry, father. I just made her a concubine. When my strength improves, I will marry Zhao Zishi. Su Tianrui said confidently. Su Taiheng saw Su Tianrui's determination for the first time and no longer dealt a blow to him. He immediately arranged for manpower to help Su Tianrui host the wedding banquet. Of course, this banquet can only be held at the Purpley Courtyard. Su Tianrui naturally has no objections. The key now is to quickly achieve the goal of getting married and taking concubines. It doesn't matter where the event is held for him. The next day, everyone in Xi'an City knew that Su Tianrui was going to hold a wedding celebration. Countless people came to the Purpley Courtyard, and they couldn't understand that Su Tianrui had already become the laughing stock of the whole city, yet he still had the courage to host a banquet. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully taking a concubine. Reward the Diamond Immortal technique and improve sexual ability. Ding, after the host recruits the first disciple, they can open the Tianxian Inheritance Mall and purchase any desired products. Chapter 4. Dugu's 9 Swords, Gift of Pills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, faced with the mockery of the guests, Su Tianrui felt very depressed, but unexpectedly, news came from the system. Sleeping in bed, improving sexual skills. Not bad, not bad. Otherwise, if I were to be included in the Beauty 3000, wouldn't I be exhausted to death? Ding, as the host is taking a concubine for the first time, we will reward 1 bottle of the top-notch power drawing pill, and at the same time, we will reward 1 top-notch secret book of Dugu. Sleeping trough, is this a top-notch secret collection of Dugu? Isn't it too awesome? If he had learned Dugu, wouldn't he be invincible in the world? Dugu is divided into 9 types. General technique, breaking sword, breaking blade, breaking spear, breaking whip, breaking rope, breaking palm, breaking arrow, and breaking chi. This swordsmanship actually has no moves and depends entirely on the opponent's moves. Therefore, when encountering strength, one becomes stronger. The most successful sword can be made from plants, trees, bamboo, and stones, breaking through all martial arts in the world. Ding, it has been detected that the host has not yet made a click selection for the reward secret. Ding, is the host willing to immediately accept the mastery of the content of the sunflower acupuncture hand? A. Yes, B. No. Ding, is the host willing to immediately accept the mastery of the content of Dugu Jiujian's ultimate secret collection? A. Yes, B. No. I am willing. I am willing to do it all. But the system, why is it content mastery instead of allowing me to directly use it, such as being able to use Dugu Jiujian at any time? After all, being proficient in content does not mean being able to use it effectively, just like Wang Yuyan in the TV series, The Legend of the Condor Heroes. Ding, the host's realm is too low and their internal strength is not deep enough, so it is not possible to directly endow the host with the strength to use Dugu Jiujian. That is to say, as long as my realm is reached and my internal strength is deep, I can unleash the complete Dugu 9 swords. Ding, the host can unleash the complete Dugu 9 swords in any realm, but only when the realm reaches the top level can it unleash its maximum power. Su Tianrui suddenly realized and wished to immediately elevate his level. Due to Su Tianrui standing in a daze, the guests thought that Su Tianrui had already been intimidated and continued to mock him. Among them, Dan Shijian from the Dan family was the most reckless. Xiao Linxiu frowned and quickly pulled Su Tianrui's arm. Su Tianrui regained his senses and immediately approached Xiao Lin's left ear. It's okay. Others slander, bully, insult, laugh at me, belittle me, deceive me, but what can they do? It's just because my level hasn't improved yet. Tomorrow, others will naturally know that I'm extraordinary. Xiao Lin pursed her lips and smiled lightly. She felt that Su Tianrui's demeanor was extraordinary, and marrying such a husband filled her with longing for the future. Due to Xiao Lin being taken as a concubine, only 18 tables can be prepared for each banquet, not many. A woman who is a concubine is not fair. To take a concubine, there is no need to marry openly. There are 3 books and 6 rituals, and there is no need to pay respects. You can just sit on a small bridge and set up a banquet. If hired, one becomes a wife, if hired, one becomes a concubine. Hiring, also known as engagement, refers to the collection of gifts for a wedding, such as silk and deer skin, to be given to the bride. To be precise, issuing a betrothal gift is in accordance with the etiquette system, and those who marry back openly and justly are considered wives. To elope is to elope, or to engage in marriage, gifting, or official matchmaking. The women who are taken in are considered concubines. Generally speaking, the consent of the wife is required to take a concubine, but there are also many cases of taking a concubine first and then getting married. Although Zhao Lin was taken in as a concubine, the public banquet now gives her and the Zhao family face, which is why she believes that Su Tianrui has an extraordinary demeanor. Because many concubines were secretly taken back by the man at night, which was extremely disgraceful. More importantly, many concubines were unable to access the family genealogy, but Su Tianrui obtained the right to access it for her. Although Su Tianrui publicly claimed to have taken a concubine and did not have any books or rituals, he clearly regarded her as his wife and even worshipped heaven and earth together. Even though 18 tables were set up and the people sitting were not satisfied, they were not as good as the people watching outside the courtyard, but Zhao Lin still felt happy in her heart. Because the Dashi dynasty did not prohibit concubines from becoming wives directly, Zhao Lin also believed that as long as she treated her husband sincerely, it was not impossible to become a wife from a concubine one day. Su Tianrui had already recruited 10 maids yesterday, and the Su mansion had arranged for a team of chefs to come over, so this banquet was busy but not chaotic. As for those mockers, Su Tianrui ignored them at all. The Su family who came from the Su mansion were only the children of Su Taiheng, who were the younger brothers and sisters of Su Tianrui, mainly composed of Su Mingyuan. Big brother, I wish you good luck in your wedding and an early childbirth. Su Mingyuan has good facial features and a body shape similar to Su Tianrui, but he is slightly thinner and weaker than Su Tianrui. He is also the closest brother to Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui pulled Su Mingyuan aside and whispered, Mingyuan, my brother has already spent all his savings to organize this wedding. So when you go back, you can discuss with your mother and give me some money so that I can arrange a banquet next time. Still setting up a banquet. Su Mingyuan looked bewildered. Isn't this a banquet being set up? Why do we need to do it again? This time it's just taking a concubine. In a few days, I will marry Zhao Zixi and continue to hold the banquet, so you must help me. As long as you help me, I can teach you a very powerful set of martial arts. Su Tianrui said calmly. Because he has already received a bottle of top-notch power boosting pill as a reward, with the pill, he will naturally be able to quickly break through to the second layer of the condensing element realm. Big brother, this. Su Mingyuan's face was full of difficulties, because his parents were not satisfied with this time of taking a concubine, and it would be very difficult to go back and get the money. Don't believe me. Since that's the case, how about I give you a top-notch power boosting pill? Su Tianrui saw Su Mingyuan hesitating so much, so he immediately took out a bottle of top-notch power boosting pill, gently unscrewed the cork, and handed a pill to Su Mingyuan. Su Mingyuan was extremely shocked. He never expected that his elder brother would secretly have a bottle of top-notch power boosting pill, which contained at least 50 pieces. However, since my elder brother has a pill, why is the realm still the third level of the energy attraction realm? Big brother, what's the situation with you? Your top-notch power boosting pill looks real, but your realm. Su Tianrui interrupted Su Mingyuan's words, alright, I have my plans, so don't ask. Anyway, as long as you help me, I will definitely not treat you unfairly. Yes, big brother. Su Mingyuan nodded, feeling extremely excited. After all, this is the ultimate power boosting pill. With the ultimate power boosting pill, he can easily advance to the second level of the Ningyuan realm. I won't be easy next, but I will also help improve your level, so you don't have to worry too much about this, but you can't tell others either. Su Tianrui warned. Su Mingyuan nodded again, so he naturally wouldn't tell anyone about his elder brother's gift of pills. In the evening, after dispersing all the guests, Su Tianrui and Xiao Lin returned to the Shijing room. According to convention, Xiao Lin had to live in the side room, but the first time he entered, Su Tianrui did not go to the side room, but instead took Xiao Lin back to the west main room. The main house is divided into the east main house and the west main house. The east main house is generally inhabited by the elderly or elders, while the west main house is inhabited by the master and wife. Now there is only Su Tianrui here, and he has not yet married Zhao Zishi. He can live anywhere he wants, and naturally he can sleep anywhere he wants. The two of them sat on the bed, and Su Tianrui excitedly removed the heavy wedding dress from Xiao Lin's body, then let Xiao Lin lie down first. Xiao Lin obediently lay flat, but her delicate body trembled for a moment, and her hands covered her pretty face. But she found that after Su Tianrui untied his clothes, he was using his hands to massage his lower abdomen. Husband, are you? Chapter 5. Double promotion, get pregnant as soon as possible. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, your lower abdominal meridians are fluffy. Does it usually feel very painful once you get sick? But don't worry, from today on, I will cure you of this problem, and you won't suffer from such pain again in the future. Su Tianrui used the sunflower acupuncture hand to treat Xiao Lin's lower abdomen, harmonize meridian qi and blood, make her qi and blood smooth, and restore normal function. Xiao Lin's face was full of emotion. She didn't expect Su Tianrui to be so careful and notice her illness. She also didn't expect Su Tianrui to know how to treat her, and her heart was excited and hopeful. After Su Tianrui's acupoint massage, she felt that her lower abdomen had become much more comfortable, and there was no longer the dull pain she had felt before. Husband, I will always remember this matter because I didn't expect you to be so sympathetic and understanding. Now it's my turn to serve you. Xiao Lin said while undressing Su Tianrui. Subsequently, she also stripped herself of all her clothes. Her graceful and delicate body, like sheep fat and white jade, is simply irresistible. Su Tianrui tightened his throat and immediately hugged Xiao Lin, pulling a red sheet that covered the two of them. Heaven and earth shake. The mountains and rivers are turbulent. Outside the room, maids such as Yu Xiaomei were eavesdropping on the situation inside. It wasn't until an hour later that they dispersed and returned to the back room to rest. The next morning, neither Su Tianrui nor Xiao Lin woke up early because there were only the two of them living here, and there was no need to offer morning tea or other complicated formalities to the old master or the old prince. So the two continued to flirt and didn't leave bed until noon. At the luncheon, Su Tianrui talked to Xiao Lin about marrying Zhao Zishi. Xiao Lin naturally has no objection to this, because she still has some inferiority complex. After all, Zhao Zishi is the daughter of a big family. If Su Tianrui could marry Zhao Zishi, it would be even more prestigious. After having lunch, Su Tianrui took Xiao Lin to a practice room and then gave her a top-notch power drawing pill. Is this the ultimate power-boosting pill? Are you giving me such a precious pill, husband? Xiao Lin was overjoyed. She didn't expect Su Tianrui to prepare such a surprise for her, and her heart was instantly moved. Swallow it, let's break through to the second level of Ningyuan realm together. As I said, as long as you are loyal to your husband and me, I can give you all the rights of your wife, including improving your strength. Su Tianrui said with a proud expression on his face. Yes, husband. Xiao Lin nodded repeatedly, her pretty face appearing even more excited. After the two of them practiced, they actually both advanced to the second level of Ningyuan realm. Husband, that's great. We've all been promoted. I never thought that one day I would be promoted so quickly. Xiao Lin was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes and threw herself into Su Tianrui's arms. You should know that she was expelled from the sect due to her low cultivation, and she received countless cold looks and ridicule, even considering suicide. But now, Su Tianrui surprisingly led her to break through to the second floor. If it were 200 years ago, the second layer was just a weak warrior, but so far, the second layer has become very rare, and some have even been called geniuses. Lin Lin, in the future, you will have everything you have for your husband, so I hope you can get pregnant as soon as possible and give birth to my Su family's offspring. Su Tianrui chuckled because he had already checked Xiao Lin's loyalty before practicing, and it turned out to be 100 points. In other words, Xiao Lin is now his absolute loyalty. Since she is loyal to death, it means that Xiao Lin will not change her loyalty until she dies. Next, he needs to quickly take Zhao Zishi and see what rewards he can get. Husband. Xiao Lin blushed with embarrassment, looked up and immediately threw herself into Su Tianrui's arms, showing a young woman's shyness. After all, in order to get pregnant and have a baby, both parties need to cooperate, which naturally reminds her of last night's love, making her both excited and hopeful. But she didn't know why Su Tianrui was so powerful. Because it was her first marriage, she thought every man was so powerful. She wished Su Tianrui could quickly continue to marry and take concubines, afraid that she wouldn't be able to handle it alone. Little did they know that when they came out for lunch today, Yu Xiaomei and her companions all looked at Xiao Lin with envy on their faces, including the maids who followed Xiao Lin's marriage. Because they served many people, they naturally knew that men rarely could last so long, so they felt that Su Tianrui was too powerful, and they all envied Xiao Lin. As soon as the two of them left the practice room, they learned that Zhao Zishi had already arrived at the hall. When he arrived at the hall, Su Tianrui waved his hand to Zhao Zishi, indicating that she didn't need to stand up and salute. I came here to tell you that my strength has been elevated to the second level. If you are not right, have you also improved? Zhao Zishi clearly felt the difference in momentum on Su Tianrui's body, and immediately asked her maid to take out a test stone. Su Tianrui chuckled and took Xiao Lin along for the test. The result is very obvious, both of them have already entered the first level of the second layer of condensed element realm. But this result shocked Zhao Zishi, because she remembered that Su Tianrui gave her the top-notch power drawing pill. Don't think about it, I don't only have one top-notch power boosting pill, I also have one bottle, so promoting to the second level is not a big deal for me. Tomorrow I will be promoted to the third level, and the day after tomorrow I will marry you. Su Tianrui waved his hand and said. Zhao Zishi looked surprised. She really didn't know that Su Tianrui still had a bottle of top-notch power boosting pill, which was really shocking. Even if it's their Zhao family, they all use top-grade power boosting pills, and there's no such thing as top-grade power boosting pills. Surprisingly, the Su family has so many. At this moment, Zhao Zishi thought it was the pill allocated by the Su family to Su Tianrui. Xiao Lin smiled happily and approached to pull Zhao Zishi's jade palm. Sister Zishi, hurry up and get married. We are all waiting for you. Zhao Zishi is not as lively as Xiao Lin. When she was told by Xiao Lin. Zhao Zishi, are you not denying it? It's you who said that as long as my realm is one level higher than yours, that's all. Su Tianrui deliberately joked. But in fact, he had already checked Zhao Zishi's loyalty through the system and found that his loyalty had reached 80 points. You should know that Zhao Zishi's previous loyalty was only 50 points, so Su Tianrui was not sure in his heart, and he didn't even dare to use deduction. Until now, he has only used the technique of deduction for Zhao Zishi. Name. Zhao Zishi, before marriage. Abide by family rules, be pure and pure, after marriage. Loyal husband, strict adherence to women's morality, confirming that Zhao Zishi would not betray him, Su Tianrui naturally felt even more at ease. Of course I won't deny it. As long as you do it, I will definitely marry you. Zhao Zishi pouted, but her pretty face appeared even more shy. She glanced at Su Tianrui and quickly turned her head to look at him. That's great. Su Tianrui was extremely happy because he had a system around him, so he naturally believed that he could marry Zhao Zishi in just a few days. Zhao Zishi dared not stay for too long and hurriedly left with her personal maid. However, Su Tianrui turned to look at Shaolin and directly explained the matter of marrying Zhao Zishi. Shaolin was somewhat surprised, because without the elixir, it would be very difficult to break through and surpass Zhao Zishi in one night. Su Tianrui saw Shaolin's confusion and immediately laughed heartily. It's just the second level of Ningyuan realm, and I can definitely break through it. Moreover, what you're practicing is just the basic technique of Dozhuan Xingyi, and I can help you switch it to an advanced technique. Chapter 6. Becoming a Deadly Loyalty, Shocking Father Su. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Shaolin's face was shocked because she couldn't believe that Su Tianrui could still be so capable. You should know that all advanced martial arts are strictly prohibited from buying and selling in the Beidu sect, which means even if the Su family spends a lot of money on Su Tianrui, it is impossible to buy them. If Su Tianrui can obtain advanced techniques, that is, the complete secret collection of Dozhuan Xingyi, she will definitely be able to learn the techniques and improve her realm. Husband, you're not joking, are you? Of course it's not a joke, but I don't have it yet. Just wait, I'll give you an advanced technique of Dozhuan Xingchang sooner or later. Su Tianrui silently agreed. After all, he has a system. As long as he works hard to meet the requirements of the system, he will definitely have the opportunity. Then, Shaolin went to rest according to Su Tianrui's arrangement. Upon seeing it, Yu Xiaomei immediately handed over the unmarried woman information obtained from all the well-known matchmakers in Xian City to Su Tianrui. Upon seeing it, Su Tianrui suddenly felt confused. He had already forgotten about it. You should know that the list of unmarried women suitable for marriage in Xian City is all with him, which shows that the two maids, Yu Xiaomei, have such high efficiency in handling affairs. I have already taken concubines, and these unmarried women lists are no longer needed. The system emphasizes that the focus is on passing down the world and prioritizing the other party's spiritual roots. Can I accept them? Ding, the host can accept apprentices because forcing the host to establish a family is to hope that the host can start from themselves and pass down various martial art secrets, so that people can pass them down from generation to generation. Ding, there are no restrictions on accepting disciples. As long as the host successfully accepts disciples, they can receive certain rewards. As the disciples' cultivation increases, the host can also stack up to obtain certain rewards. Upon hearing the system's words, Su Tianrui breathed a sigh of relief. Because as long as the system allows him to accept apprentices, he can use these secrets to collect tuition fees, which is equivalent to an additional source of wealth. Since the system agrees to accept the apprentices, from now on, he can send people to pay more attention to some young girls with spiritual roots but no sect. The two maids of Yu Xiaomei were very surprised to learn that Su Tianrui planned to take in his apprenticeship. But both of them were very obedient to Su Tianrui's arrangements. Next, I may widely recruit disciples and even establish sects, so there are many places where you two need to run errands. I'll give you these two top-notch power-boosting pills as gifts, aiming to elevate your level and prevent you from being bullied while running errands. Starting today, you will be my personal secretary. Su Tianrui pounded out 2 pills from a small porcelain vase and gave them to 2 maids respectively. The 2 maids were both stunned, because they didn't expect Su Tianrui to give them such a precious pill as a gift. As for what kind of personal secretary, the 2 maids don't even understand. In just one moment, the loyalty of both maids skyrocketed to 100 points. For Su Tianrui, although both maids are loyal, what he wants is loyalty to death. The 2 maids are because of the existence of the Su family. What if they don't have this dependence on the Su family? Instead of waiting for a change in people's hearts, it's better to turn the two maids into loyal ones now. The two maids came to their senses and were all grateful, bowing in admiration to Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui sent two maids and immediately returned to the practice room to continue practicing martial arts. Little did they know that as soon as he came here, Yu Xiaomei came to report. "Master, it's terrible. Those media outlets have already gathered at the entrance of the courtyard. They all say they want to see you and introduce unmarried women to you. No need. Let's just say that my marriage to Zhao Zixi, the daughter of the Zhao family, has already been arranged. We need to be busy with marrying Zhao Zixi. Let them all withdraw. I probably won't need a matchmaker in the future." Thinking of Zhao Zixi, Su Tianrui immediately made up his mind to refuse those matchmakers. Previously, it was because the system forced marriage to be completed within 3 days that it was so urgent. Now that he has completed this task within 3 days, there is no need for a matchmaker. Upon receiving instructions, Yu Xiaomei immediately went out to refuse the media's request for an audience for Su Tianrui. When the media learned about this situation, they naturally dared not continue to make a big fuss. After all, the Zhao family is a big family in Xi'an City, and it is said that they also have connections in the capital city of Shilong City during the Dashi dynasty. At that time, Su Tianrui, after swallowing the top-grade body-quenching pill and continuously practicing martial arts, finally broke through to the 3rd level of marrow-washing realm. Xiao Lin has been waiting outside the practice room. When she saw Su Tianrui come out and found out that she had already broken through, she naturally felt happy for him. "Great husband. Congratulations on your breakthrough again. I have prepared a dinner for you, and you can." "No need. Now that I am in the 3rd level of the wash marrow realm, I don't feel too hungry today. Besides, you are so beautiful and delicious, I have enough to eat you, haha." Su Tianrui laughed and ran towards the main room, holding Xiao Lin horizontally. Tonight was another sleepless night. The two of them entered the main room, undressing and undressing more skillfully than last night. They quickly got to the point and began their hard work. It's really enviable. Outside the room, maids such as Yu Xiaomei eavesdropped again, but curiosity turned into torture. They all went to the kitchen to search for cucumbers, and then returned to the back cover room to solve the problem. The next morning when I woke up, all the maids looked haggard and haggard. This time, Su Tianrui got up early and returned to the Su mansion, asking Su Taiheng to send someone to Zhao mansion to hire him. Su Taiheng was extremely angry. He couldn't believe that Su Tianrui had just taken a concubine and wanted to get married again, because the Zhao family had not responded accurately to the previous proposal. Although Su Taiheng didn't want to pay attention to Su Tianrui, Su's mother learned of the situation and eventually sent someone to the Zhao mansion to hire him. After all, Su Tianrui is their eldest son. Although he was expelled from the Su family, he is still a member of the Su family. Su's descendants, how could their parents ignore their son's marriage? Soon, news came from the Zhao mansion, accepting the dowry and agreeing to let Su Tianrui marry Zhao Zixi, but the requirement was that Su Tianrui must own a shop, regardless of size. After all, Su Tianrui was expelled from his sect and did not work in the court. If he had no income, how could he raise his children? Upon hearing this news, Su's mother immediately proposed to hand over all her savings to Su Tianrui and asked him to open a store at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com as soon as possible. This was opposed by Su Taiheng, as he did not want his wife to pay so much for his eldest son, which would make him lose his dignity and face in front of other ethnic members. If I don't support Tianrui, who else will support Tianrui? Su Mu sighed, still stubbornly insisting on supporting Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui was moved in his heart, but in order to make his mother treat him equally, he still gave his mother a top-notch power-boosting pill. At the same time, 4 other pills were distributed to 4 younger brothers and sisters besides Su Mingyuan, reminding them to practice martial arts in a timely manner. The four of them were overjoyed and they received the top-notch power-boosting pill. They almost ran out and started talking nonsense, but were stopped by Su Mingyuan. Su Taiheng and his wife were both shocked to see Su Tianrui take out the top-notch power-boosting pill. How did you get this pill? Don't tell me it was given by a sect. In the eyes of those sects, you are not worth their investment in top-quality pills. Su Taiheng questioned with a serious expression on his face, but only then did he realize that Su Tianrui's temperament was different today. He quickly asked someone to test the stone. Okay, father, there's no need to test the stones. I'm already the first-level player in the third level of the Wash Marrow realm, and I'll continue to break through in the future. Su Tianrui waved his hand and said. After all, there is a systematic appraisal, and he knows his own realm, so naturally there is no need to test the stone. The third level. How could you be promoted to the third level? Su Taiheng's eyes widened. He never expected that among his sons, his eldest son Su Tianrui would be the first to break through to the third level. You know, if current warriors can break through to the third level, they are simply geniuses. His eldest son is now a genius. According to the current standard of declining cultivation in the whole continent, is the eldest son now a master. Chapter 7. Extraordinary Experts Marrying the Zhao Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. For a moment, Su Taiheng was extremely excited and immediately used a move without hesitation to test Su Tianrui. As the eldest son of the second generation of the Su family, he is also in the state of washing marrow and has not stopped practicing martial arts. However, due to slow progress, he has not been able to make a breakthrough and has remained in the third level. Despite this, he is still at a higher level than Su Tianrui, so he can naturally test it with his own hands to see if Su Tianrui has truly reached the state of washing marrow. When Su Tianrui saw Su Taiheng directly take action, he could only accept the call. The two of them started fighting in the hall like this, coming and going quickly. Little did they know that the Su family members who were preparing to come and watch and mock Su Tianrui were all shocked at the entrance of the hall. No one expected that in just a few days, Su Tianrui would have become an expert in the third level of the Wash Marrow realm. This is too incredible, isn't it? How did Su Tianrui achieve it? What surprised everyone even more was that Su Tianrui defeated Su Taiheng with an easy move. Although Su Taiheng fell to the ground, he quickly got up and looked at Su Tianrui with an incredulous expression on his face. Is your cultivation method incorrect? It seems like a cultivation method you have learned before. Of course not. Su Tianrui immediately shook his head, but did not give Su Taiheng too much explanation, and then turned his head to look at the door. Su Taiheng instantly understood, after all, there were so many people here, so he naturally wouldn't pester Su Tianrui to reveal his cards. Humph, you villain. If you don't study martial arts well, you're just taking shortcuts. Su Tianrui naturally knew that Su Taiheng had intentionally said such things this time. The younger generation at the entrance of the hall rushed in one after another to congratulate Su Tianrui. Tianrui, I knew you were a genius. How could you be so bad? Tianrui, those sects don't know how to discern people with their eyes. As I said before, my Tianrui brother has amazing potential in martial arts. Brother Tianrui, teach me how to break through the power attraction realm. Under his tongue, Su Tianrui only waved his hand and did not respond immediately. Other uncles approached Su Taiheng and asked him about Su Tianrui's situation. Su Taiheng casually brushed off a few words on the grounds of not knowing, and then quickly brought the topic to the marriage of Zhao Zishi, the Zhao family. Looking at Su Tianrui again, he felt that his eldest son had already taken on the aura of honoring his ancestors. Su Tianrui saw his father being questioned and quickly stepped forward to lift the siege. Uncle, don't ask my father anymore. In fact, my father doesn't know about this either, otherwise he wouldn't have kicked me out of the Su mansion. Upon hearing this, the uncles all turned to Su Tianrui. You should know that they were able to break through the realm in the past because of the advanced martial arts taught by the sect and resource support. Even if they can grant their children advanced martial arts, without resource support, it is not possible. Danyao is just one of the resources, and breaking through in martial arts is not only an aid from Danyao, but also requires a combination of various factors such as precision crafting sights, top-level weapons, and training beasts to fully unleash potential. Although these families have wealth and status, they do not have so many conditions to prepare for their children and grandchildren to break through the realm. Moreover, the venue and weapons are either controlled by the imperial court or by various sects, and it is not up to the family to do as they please. How did you break through to the third layer? This is because I met an extraordinary expert who assisted me in breaking through, but I promised him not to reveal his situation, so I'm very sorry, uncles. Su Tianrui casually talked about an extraordinary expert, blocked the mouths of his uncles, and then began to cry poverty, seeking their support. Su Mingyuan and his younger siblings were all dumbfounded because Su Tianrui was crying so hard, it was like refreshing their values. The uncles, upon seeing Su Tianrui's agreement, had the opportunity to introduce extraordinary talents to their children in the future, and they all gave Su Tianrui some money to support his marriage. The news that Su Tianrui wanted to marry Zhao Zishi quickly spread throughout the entire Su mansion. Not long after, this matter became a hot topic in Xi'an City. Isn't that rebellious son of the Su family just taking a concubine? Why did he get married again so quickly? Oh my goodness, that's Zhao Zishi, my dream goddess. This playboy is too despicable, isn't he? His strength is not as high as mine. How could he marry Zhao Zishi? For a while, many wealthy young masters, even those from other places, gathered at the entrance of the Su mansion to condemn Su Tianrui. After learning of the situation, Grandpa Su arranged for someone to escort Su Tianrui back to the Purple Li courtyard. Despite this, those wealthy young masters still couldn't spare Su Tianrui, still shouting at the entrance of the Purple Li courtyard. Su Tianrui was too lazy to pay attention to them, so he used the money given by his mother to open a herbal shop and kept busy with the wedding arrangements. The next day, under the escort arranged by the Su family, Su Tianrui went to Zhao mansion. The Zhao family has long been decorated with festive lights and decorations, as they attach great importance to this marriage. After all, for the Zhao family, the alliance with the Su family is also beneficial for their future development. Zhao Zishi was dressed in a phoenix crown and xia pei, shining brightly and charming. Even though the Zhao family had already become familiar with each other, they were also impressed by Zhao Zishi's stunning attire and beauty. In their eyes, Zhao Zishi was just a granddaughter, looking no different from other granddaughters, but they never expected that she was now standing tall and beautiful. Su Tianrui followed Zhao Zishi up the flower bridge and smoothly returned to the Zili courtyard. This time it was getting married. The first batch of banquets had 30.6 tables, and each table was already filled with people. Xiao Lin looked at this scene with a hint of sadness on her face. After all, her Xiao family background was not as good as the Zhao family, and she was married as a concubine. Looking for a book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com, Zhao Zishi got married, but naturally felt a bit unwilling. However, she quickly adjusted her mindset and actively responded to the guests for Su Tianrui. In addition to receiving money from his mother and uncles, Su Tianrui also received a generous dowry from the Zhao family, which made him very happy. After all, he is going to open a store and plan to raise children. Without money, it will be difficult for him to move forward. Xiao Lin's personal maid, named Mu Yuanzhu, received a message from a maid and immediately reported the matter to Xiao Lin. Xiao Lin frowned and ran over to report to Su Tianrui. Does anyone want to challenge me? Su Tianrui's face darkened slightly. Both the experts of the Su and Zhao families were here, and those wealthy young masters dared to shout and challenge, which can be said to be very arrogant. Husband, why don't I have someone send them away? Xiao Lin quickly suggested. After all, Su Tianrui is now the groom's official. How could he let the groom's official go out and fight with others? No need. Since they are targeting me, you must not be able to send them away. Send orders and I can take on any challenge from my peers. If they lose, they will have to give 100 times the money of ordinary guests. If I lose, I will let them handle it. Su Tianrui said arrogantly. Husband, please think twice. Xiao Lin's face was full of fear, and she naturally didn't want to see Su Tianrui take such an adventure. Standing on the side, Zhao Zishi was also very nervous. After all, today was the day of her wedding, and she didn't want to see Su Tianrui get hurt. Husband, Huan is right. You need to think twice. Su Tianrui waved his hand and said, don't worry, I'm currently in the 3rd level of the Washmarrow realm, and those people outside won't be my opponents. Since that's the case, what else should I be afraid of? Chapter 8. Wife and concubine together, facing outsiders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Zhao Zishi was taken aback for a moment, almost forgetting that Su Tianrui was already in the 3rd level of the Washmarrow realm. You should know that there are not many children of wealthy families in Ziyun City who have reached the 3rd level of the Washmarrow realm, not to mention those children of wealthy families from other places. Therefore, her concern was somewhat unnecessary, so she naturally did not intercept Su Tianrui again. However, what neither Zhao Zishi nor Xiao Lin knew was that Su Tianrui had already asked the system to help conceal his cultivation, which means that even if outsiders use the test stone, they can only detect that he is in the 2nd layer of the Ningyuan realm. The reason for doing this is that he had to marry and take concubines before, and his cultivation was too high, which could easily attract the attention of those sections. When the guests learned that Su Tianrui was going out to fight, they were curious and crowded out, cheering and jumping. At this moment, outside the courtyard stood a large group of wealthy children who had already followed Su Tianrui all the way. Now, when they saw Zhao Zishi from outside, they were all shocked and wished they could marry him immediately. This time, it is still Dan Shijian of the Dan family who is the most rampant. I said the rebellious son of the Su family. This time, your father looks down on you and didn't give you the main marriage. How could you be willing to marry Zhao Zishi? Dan Shijian was overweight, with a round face and chicken eyes. He was wearing a luxurious white and yellow shirt and looked at Su Tianrui walking out with a playful expression on his face. Dan Shi too, I won't marry Zhao Zishi. What's your business? You'd better evacuate here immediately and avoid stirring up trouble here. Su Tianrui sternly retorted, saying that his former self was no match for Dan Shijian, and he naturally wouldn't be polite to such a playboy like Dan Shijian. Humph, Zhao Zishi is also a woman among the prime ministers. You are just a rebellious son of the Su family and useless. Why do you marry Zhao Zishi? Today, the prime minister is going to snatch a marriage and challenge you. Dan Shijian had a proud expression on his face, raised his head, and then extended a hand to his side. A follower immediately swung a short sword and placed it in Dan Shijian's hand. The onlookers were all shocked. Although everyone was clamoring to challenge Su Tianrui just now, for the sake of the Su family, few of them dared to boldly come and snatch their marriage. Other followers of the Dan family opened their arms and called on the onlookers to step back to make room for Dan Shijian. On Su Tianrui's side, only Xiao Lin and Mu Yuanzhu followed out, while the guests were squeezing the courtyard door and watching. Xiao Lin looked at Dan Shijian so recklessly, but her heart was filled with anger. Is it up to you to snatch a wedding? Dan Shi too, I advise you not to act recklessly. I didn't promise you anything about snatching a wedding. If you lose, I'll let you handle it, but it's not related to the bride. But if I win, you'll have to pay my share. Su Tianrui waved his hand and asked Xiao Lin to step back. He then walked to the side of the inner passage, facing Dan Shijian in opposition, and also took a short sword handed over by Mu Yuanzhu. Su Wuchai, since you're looking for death, you can't blame me. Dan Shijian sneered and then swung his short sword toward Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui immediately swung his long sword and with a casual flick, he lifted Dan Shijian's short sword away. You should know that although his internal strength and realm are not yet reached, he is already proficient in the content of Dugu Jiujian, and using the breaking sword technique is naturally easy, just not very powerful. But now, using the second layer of Ningyuan realm to deal with Dan Shijian in the same realm, even if the power is not strong, the momentum is still not weaker than the opponent. Dan Shijian was taken 5 steps back by the shock, his face full of shock, because he never expected Su Tianrui to use his moves so quickly, and he didn't seem to be a person who cultivates the energy realm. But the intelligence he found out clearly said that Su Tianrui was just the 3rd level of the power attraction realm, but now he can even compete with him. He is the top priority in the Ningyuan realm, he should have completely crushed Su Tianrui. You're not right, you're not in a state of arousal. Why is this happening? Su Tianrui snorted lightly and shook his head firmly at Dancher. You're not my opponent at all, so hurry up and give me the money. What do you mean? I haven't landed yet, so you're thinking I'll lose. Dan Shijian had a dissatisfied expression on his face. Although he was shaken back, he did not believe that he would lose to Su Tianrui, so he was not convinced. Husband. Zhao Zishi rushed out and walked straight to Su Tianrui's side. Go back. I can deal with him. Su Tianrui turned his head to look at Zhao Zishi and immediately asked her to return inside. Xiao Lin also walked up to Su Tianrui's side and glanced at Zhao Zishi. Wives and concubines are united, and their benefits cut off gold. The 2 women suddenly clenched each other's jade palms, hating Dan Shijian. Dan Shijian looked at the 2 women and felt even more excited, wishing he could come forward and embrace them. Su Tianrui couldn't help but furrow his brow when he saw the 2 women refusing to move away. He looked coldly at Dan Shijian and suddenly had an idea in his heart. Dan Shi, if you lose, you can pay as much as you want. Of course, I also allow you to eat at the banquet, and you can have a separate table. Humph, Su useless chai, are you 3 people hitting me alone? Dan Shijian's face was full of jealousy, and a fierce expression flashed in his eyes. If he had just wanted to teach Su Tianrui a lesson and snatch his marriage before, now he plans to kill Su Tianrui on the spot. I can deal with you alone, and you can also let others assist, but once you lose, whenever I marry or take concubines in the future, you must come over to eat and respectfully hand over the portion of money. Su Tianrui laughed heartily and then gestured to Dan Shijian. Dan Shijian was instantly furious and turned his head to scold the wealthy and young people. You all said you were going to deal Su Tianrui a scolding just now. Now the opportunity has come, don't tell me. You are all shrinking-headed turtles. If you have any seeds, come forward and ask Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com to assist me. The young and middle-aged members of the wealthy family all changed their faces and immediately felt very embarrassed. Helping Dan Shijian is equivalent to offending the Su family, which is very unfavorable for their family. If you don't help Dan Shijian, their reputation will be ruined and they will definitely be called turtles in the future. But as one wealthy young master stood up, the other wealthy young masters also followed suit. Husband. We'll help you. Zhao Zishi and Xiao Lin said at the same time. Okay. Su Tianrui laughed heartily and then whispered to the 2 women privately. Dan Shijian immediately summoned these wealthy young masters and had a private conversation. Subsequently, Dan Shijian scolded and began to form a formation with the wealthy young masters, immediately surrounding Su Tianrui and the others. Su Tianrui was not polite either, and directly used the broken sword technique of Dugu Jiujian to knock the 3 wealthy young masters away in one fell swoop. Dan Shijian suddenly felt a little nervous and intimidated, but he still brushed his sword and swung it towards Su Tianrui. However, Su Tianrui was faster than him and immediately shook him away. Not only that, the short swords gathered by other wealthy young masters, even the 7-sword series, were all lifted away by Su Tianrui's cooperation with Zhao Zishi and his 2 daughters. Suddenly, the sword's shadow fluttered, leaving all the onlookers amazed. Dan Shijian still wanted to attack, and this time he did his best to approach Su Tianrui. But he never expected it. Su Tianrui resisted with his short sword, spun his body and approached, hitting his left shoulder with a palm, shaking him away. This time, he really fell to the ground. Lost. I actually lost. I lost to Su Shichai. Chapter 9. Collecting funds and dealing with promises. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, everyone was shocked. No one could have imagined that Su Tianrui and his 3 companions had defeated the populous Dan Shijian and others. Ouch! A mournful howl echoed. Even the young masters of the wealthy could not have imagined that Su Tianrui was so powerful. Although they were defeated, they all admired Su Tianrui very much. Dan Shijian was supported by the followers of the Dan family. Although he was still unwilling, he knew he had really lost to Su Tianrui. I lost this time. Someone, give Su Gongzi some money. The attendant of the Dan family looked bewildered, because in all these years, he had never seen Dan Shijian accompany anyone with any money. Young master, why don't I have someone go back and inform the master so that he can arrange? Before he could finish speaking, Dan Shijian waved his right hand and slapped him. What's the arrangement? What I said is to give the portion money immediately. The attendants of the Dan family were full of grievances, but they still gave a box of silver to Su Tianrui according to Dan Shijian's instructions. You should know that the compensation amount is 100 times that of an ordinary guest. The amount for an ordinary guest is 10 taels of silver. If it's 100 times that, it's 1,000 taels of silver. If we compare the purchasing power of the Ming dynasty with modern times, 1 tael of silver may be 300 renminbi. 10 taels of silver may be 3,000 renminbi. 1,000 taels of silver may be 300,000 renminbi. Losing to Su Tianrui and compensating 1,000 taels of silver is simply a loss. Those wealthy young masters saw that Dan Shijian had already given money, and they all had to follow suit and give money. Alright, let's take 100 taels each of you. Let's go in and have a feast. I don't mind talking to you about any sword moves you want to know. Su Tianrui only signaled to Zhao Zishi and her daughter to take 100 taels and return the remaining silver to Dan Shijian and the others. Dan Shijian and the others were all deeply moved at once. After all, their pocket money was also limited. If they really gave 1,000 taels, they would have no money to use for most of the year. For these playboy young masters, having no money to use is equivalent to letting them die. Then, Dan Shijian and the others were invited in by Su Tianrui, and Su Mingyuan arranged for them to enter the East Wing room with separate tables and seats. Su Tianrui also reminded himself once again that he had encountered an extraordinary expert, which allowed him to gain a chance encounter and suddenly improve his skills. Upon hearing this, Dan Shijian and the others looked enviously at Su Tianrui. Listening to Su Tianrui's endless narration of swordsmanship, I was instantly fascinated. After Su Tianrui finished speaking, 2 of the wealthy young masters were guided by Su Tianrui to practice. As expected, the person who successfully used the broken sword technique defeated the other person in one fell swoop. Of course, Su Tianrui only talked about an ordinary move and did not tell Dan Shijian and the others the core martial arts. Rao Shijian and these people, who are so humble, also greatly admire Su Tianrui. The other guests didn't know what was wrong with Su Tianrui and Dan Shijian, and they all looked curiously at the East Wing room. When they heard something moving inside, they immediately began to discuss. Zhao Zishi and her 2 daughters were arranged to entertain guests in the inner courtyard, and they both had some concerns. However, just as Xiao Lin was about to enter, Zhao Zishi held on to her. Don't go in, my husband can definitely take care of them. Upon hearing Zhao Zishi's words, Shaolin finally felt relieved. When Su Tianrui opened the door and walked out, the two women immediately led him in. "Husband, how are you?" "Husband, they didn't make things difficult for you, did they?" Su Tianrui looked at the two women, chuckled, and then gently shook his head. The two women looked into the wing room, only to find that Dan Shijian and the others were calmly drinking without any disturbance. Su Tianrui and his two daughters personally went forward to entertain these guests in the inner courtyard. "I'm sorry to have surprised you all." Su is grateful to everyone for taking the time to attend Su's wedding banquet. May everyone have a great time and eat, and Su has done it. Su Tianrui drank a glass of wine in one gulp and then bowed to the guests. The guests saw that Su Tianrui had nothing to do, so they naturally knew that Su Tianrui should have successfully resolved the provocation caused by Dan Shijian and others. So, guests also congratulated and toasted Su Tianrui one after another. At night, after seeing off all the guests and Dan Shijian and the others, the entire courtyard appeared very quiet. Zhao Zishi and Shaolin supported the drunken Su Tianrui into the Shijing room together. Shaolin thought it was their wedding night and wanted to leave, only to find that Zhao Zishi had grabbed her instead. "Lin, don't leave. I was still scared the first time, but I don't want my husband to be disappointed, so you can stay and help me." Zhao Zishi whispered in Shaolin's ear, pleading with the other party to stay. Shaolin quickly nodded in agreement, but broke free from Zhao Zishi and immediately dodged to the side. Although Su Tianrui appears drunk, he is actually very conscious. He rudely grabbed Zhao Zishi, pushed her onto the large bed, pulled a sheet over, and wrapped her underneath. At this moment, heaven and earth shake once again. Waves of decadent voices kept spreading. There were also many eavesdroppers, including the maids and maids brought by Zhao Zishi. They all trembled and leaned against the door wall, unable to control themselves. The next morning when Su Tianrui woke up, he looked at the beautiful wives and concubines beside him and suddenly remembered. So he started working hard with his wife and concubines again. The Zhao maids, who had originally planned to come in to serve, all blushed and retreated when they heard the sound of labor. It wasn't until noon that Su Tianrui got up with his wife and concubines to have a lunch together. Zhao Zishi's face was full of resentment, because she didn't expect Su Tianrui's sexual ability to be so strong. You should know that she used to be in the Zhao mansion, but she had heard of the corner of the wall before. However, soon after, there was no sound inside, and then there was a lot of angry curses, mostly from the woman insulting her husband for being incompetent. But how could it be that even with the joint efforts of his wife and concubines, Su Tianrui couldn't bear it? Shaolin, on the other hand, had a relaxed expression on her face. She went to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com because without Zhao Zishi, she really felt very uncomfortable. Her husband was too strong to be satisfied. Now, with Zhao Zishi, Su Tianrui is barely satisfied. Su Tianrui saw Zhao Zishi's appearance and quickly comforted her. "Don't be angry, madam. I will definitely love you well in the future. Okay, you promised me that you would give me the body-quenching pill once you're married." Zhao Zishi immediately demanded the quenching body pill. After all, with the quenching body pill, she could also ascend to the third level of the wash marrow realm. Su Tianrui awkwardly smiled, "I have already used the quenching body pill. When I have it next time, I will definitely give it to you." "Husband. You are bullying people, you have clearly promised me." Zhao Zishi felt very aggrieved. After all, it was Su Tianrui who had promised her. Su Tianrui was also helpless, because the previous system only rewarded one, and now the reward has not come out yet. Where did he get the body-quenching pill to Zhao Zishi? Ding, as the host is getting married for the first time, a bottle of quenching body pill will be rewarded, and at the same time, a top-notch secret book of the 18 dragons subduing palms will be rewarded. Upon hearing the sound of the system, Su Tianrui immediately felt ecstatic. Crouching slot, this is the 18 dragon subduing palms. Turning to her senses and looking at Zhao Zishi again, Su Tianrui felt a little nervous. She had just married Zhao Zishi into the house. If Zhao Zishi got into trouble because of this, how would the two work and have children in the future? Alright, husband, I was just teasing you. Actually, I was already prepared. Really, upon hearing Su Tianrui's words, Zhao Zishi's phoenix eyes widened because she wished she could elevate her realm. It's not that she's greedy for any pills, but that she plans to wash away the shame of her low realm. Chapter 10. Sun and Moon Medicine Shop, widely expanding financial resources. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Su Tianrui pretended to go back to his room, and after coming out, he took out a porcelain bottle and pounded out 2 quenching pills, giving them to Zhao Zishi and Xiao Lin. Xiao Lin was deeply moved in her heart. She did not ask Su Tianrui for the body-quenching pill, but she did not expect Su Tianrui to even prepare her portion. Thank you, husband. Su Tianrui nodded lightly at Xiao Lin and then looked at Zhao Zishi. Zhao Zishi was already stunned at this moment, because she never expected that Su Tianrui would have a whole bottle of body-quenching pills, all of which were top quality. Although not top quality, this top quality quenching pill has already reached 22,000 taels. Even if this whole bottle is only 10 top quality quenching pills, and they are all auctioned off, it would still be 200,000 taels of silver. However, Su Tianrui never considered the matter of money, and even though he gave it to her, the Zhao family did not treat her so well. So for an instant, Zhao Zishi's heart was also deeply moved, and tears welled up in her eyes. Su Tianrui couldn't help but feel confused when he saw Zhao Zishi crying. Madam, why are you crying? I was just teasing you. I've already given it to you now. Are you still angry? No, husband. You are too kind to me. This is a body-quenching pill, but when you said you gave it to me, you really gave it to me. Zhao Zishi shook her head at Su Tianrui and quickly took out a handkerchief, wanting to wipe away her tears, but her delicate fingers were trembling with excitement. However, Su Tianrui had already freed his hand and gently wiped away Zhao Zishi's tears with his fingers. What kind of lowly wife? The nickname lowly wife is not good. In the future, you will call yourself Sisi to me. Zhao Zishi was stunned, her pretty face blushed instantly, and then she hugged Su Tianrui. Su Tianrui waved his right hand and grabbed Xiao Lin as well. In the future, if there is me, Su Tianrui, there will be you. I will love you and love you for a lifetime. Both women nodded repeatedly. Although Su Tianrui has only opened one store and no other industries, they are all full of confidence in Su Tianrui. After finishing the lunch, Su Tianrui arranged for 2 women to go to the practice room to practice martial arts, while he took 2 maids, Yu Xiaomei and Lu Xiaowei, to Ziyun North Street. Because Ziyun North Street is closest to his northern suburb's Zili Courtyard, he used his mother's money to invest in the store here. This store was originally a herbal medicine store, but due to not having much business and unable to make ends meet, it was sold at a low price by the shopkeeper. Rao is talking about low price transfer. Su Tianrui also spent a full 1,300 taels. The money I received from my mother and uncles was 2,300 taels, so there is still 1,000 taels left for my mother, plus 1,100 taels from Dan Shijian and others, which adds up to 2,100 taels. Most of the money that other guests paid was used to fill in the banquet and matchmakers' expenses, leaving 300 taels to be handed over to the accounting room for daily living expenses in the Zili Courtyard. So Su Tianrui currently has only 2,100 taels of cash on hand, and if he plans to conceive and have children next, he will raise his wife and concubines. Just 2,100 liang, it's really not worth spending. Both Yu and Xiaomei knew that Su Tianrui didn't know how to do business, so they opened this shop to marry Zhao Zishi. Now that Zhao Zishi has been married, both of them believe that Su Tianrui is likely to transfer the store. Unexpectedly, Su Tianrui instructed the two to arrange for the reconstruction of a plaque. The price of this crafting is generally between 5 liang and 100 liang, with expensive ones ranging from 1,000 liang or more. However, it is mostly done through celebrity inscriptions or hand carving, using expensive materials, and the price has always been difficult to determine. There are mainly three types of materials: wood, stone, and bronze, with wood being the cheapest. After all, wood can be used as a sign with ordinary pine wood, and the store name can be written casually. If stone and bronze materials are used, it is certain to hire carving craftsmen for manual carving, which will cost more money. Su Tianrui didn't think that much. For him now, as long as there is a plaque, it's enough. Soon, the herbal shop was replaced with a new plaque, which read, Sun and Moon Medicine Shop. The shopkeeper and 4 assistants are all present, and they are certain that Su Tianrui will not be fired. They are all there to accompany Su Tianrui wherever he goes. Because they thought that Su Tianrui was still relying on the Su family, and their future reliance would be on the Su family, so they naturally had to take good care of Su Tianrui. Alright, you don't need to follow me. You can open the store normally in the next 2 days. As for purchasing, shopkeeper, please come over and let me know. Su Tianrui sent 4 assistants and left the shopkeeper in the warehouse. The shopkeeper's name is Xian Yanchang, in his early 40s. He is an ordinary martial artist and has no spiritual roots. He followed the original owner's family to run a herbal shop for 6 years, and he is relatively honest. Manager Xian, you have been working at Yunhe Pharmacy for 6 years and your income is not high. Have you ever considered pursuing other industries? Su Tianrui asked indifferently, not even looking at Xian Yanchang, but constantly scanning the inventory in the warehouse. However, Xian Yanchang was surprised and felt that Su Tianrui was about to dismiss him. He quickly confessed everything to Su Tianrui. Boss, I don't have spiritual roots, and I have no hope of practicing martial arts in my life. Because my family often went to the mountains to pick herbs when I was young, so I am skilled in this area. I don't understand the buying and selling of other shops. I can't find the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com, and the owners of other pharmacies can't be interested in me either, so I haven't considered doing anything else. Please, my boss. I'm already 40.6 years old this year, and there are both seniors. The former Shidong family has given up their industry here, and he no longer wants me. If you don't want me to, then I'll be unemployed. For a middle-aged man, unemployment can be a family disaster. Don't worry, you're quite honest. I won't fire you. However, these herbs are all mediocre and not enough to make me rich. Su Tianrui chuckled and said. Wide source of wealth. Master, it's not just me talking nonsense. I have already proposed to the Shidong family. Ordinary herbal materials are low-end and difficult to make a profit unless you use precious medicinal herbs. Xian Yanchang grinned his lips for a moment, but his eyes flickered. He thought of something and quickly suggested, by the way, my boss, if you want precious medicinal herbs, you'll have a chance in 3 days. To the north of the Qingyun Mountains in Qingyu City, there is a Tai Baiyin mountain that is preparing to open up. It is said that there are many heavenly elixirs there. Tai Baiyin mountain is under the jurisdiction of Qingyun Sect, as there has been a missing person accident before and the area has been locked down, prohibiting any wanderers from entering. I don't know how to open it now. Upon hearing this, Su Tianrui immediately became interested. After all, he had been purchasing these ordinary herbs and it was difficult to make money, so he naturally had to look elsewhere. If he could go to Taibayan Mountain to collect medicine for free, then he naturally wanted to give it a try. You will follow up on this matter for me. I want to know the detailed situation, such as the range of Tai Baiyin Mountain, whether entry and exit fees are charged, travel routes, and the surrounding stations and inns. Xian Yanchang nodded immediately and said, Don't worry, my boss. I have acquaintances in this area, and I promised to send someone to inquire about the situation.